Good evening, friends, fiends, and night owl supremes. Welcome to A Bit Late, where tonight we have a bit of a fairy tale double feature. Both tales are loosely related by sewing. One has a pretty happily ever after ending, and the other is just bizarre and a little endearing, but I do hope you enjoy both. So get comfy and cozy, summon your familiars, light your fairy lights, grab a mug of your favorite tea, and follow me. The Elves and the Shoemaker. There was once a shoemaker who worked very hard and was very honest, but still he could not earn enough to live upon. At last, all he had in the world was gone, save just enough leather to make one pair of shoes. Then he cut his leather out, all ready to make up the next day, meaning to rise early in the morning to his work. His conscience was so clear and his heart light amidst his troubles. So he went peacefully to bed, left all his cares to the heavens, and soon fell asleep. In the morning, he sat himself down to do his work, when, to his great wonder, there stood shoes all ready made upon the table. The good man knew not what to say or to think at such an odd thing happening. He looked at the workmanship. There was not one false stitch in the whole job. All was so neat and true that it was quite a masterpiece. The same day a customer came in, and the shoes suited him so well that he willingly paid a price higher than usual for them, and the poor shoemaker, with the money, bought leather enough to make 2 pairs more. In the evening, he cut out the work and went to bed early, that he might get up and begin betimes next day. But he was saved all the trouble, for when he got up in the morning, the work was done, ready to his hand. Soon in came buyers, who paid handsomely for his goods, so that he bought enough leather for 4 pair more. He cut out the work again overnight, and found it done in the morning as before. And so it went on for some time. What was got ready in the evening was always done by daybreak, and the good man soon became thriving and well off again. One evening, as he and his wife were sitting over the fire chatting together, he said to her, "I should like to sit up and watch tonight, that we may see who it is that comes and does my work for me." The wife liked the thought, so they left a light burning and hid themselves in the corner of the room behind a curtain that was hung up there and watched what would happen. As soon as it was midnight, there came in 2 little naked dwarfs, and they sat themselves upon the shoemaker's bench, took up all the work that was cut out, and began to ply with their little fingers, stitching and rapping and tapping at such a rate that the shoemaker was all wonder, and he could not take his eyes off of them. And on they went till the job was quite done, and the shoes stood ready for use upon the table. This was long before daybreak, and then they bustled away as quick as lightning. The next day the wife said to the shoemaker, "These little wights have made us rich, and we ought to be thankful to them and do them a good turn if we can. I am quite sorry to see them run about as they do, and indeed it is not very decent, for they have had nothing upon their backs to keep off the cold. I'll tell you what, I will make each of them a shirt and coat and waistcoat and a pair of pantaloons into the bargain, and do you make each of them a little pair of shoes." The thought pleased the cobbler very much, and one evening, when all the things were ready, they laid them on the table instead of the work that they used to cut out, and then went and hid themselves to watch what the little elves would do. At midnight they came, dancing and skipping, hopped around the room, and then went to sit down their work as usual. But when they saw the clothes lying for them, they laughed and chuckled and seemed mightily delighted. Then they dressed themselves in the twinkling of an eye, and danced and capered and sprang about as merry as could be, till at last they danced out at the door and away over the green. The good couple saw them no more, but everything went well with them from that time forward, as long as they lived. The end of the Elves and the Shoemaker. and the shoemaker's wife, who seems to be an excellent and efficient seamstress. But now let's switch gears slightly for our next story about sentient household items. The straw, the coal, and the bean. In a village dwelt a poor old woman who had gathered together a dish of beans and wanted to cook them. So she made a fire on her hearth, and that it might burn the quicker, she lighted it with a handful of straw. When she was emptying the beans into the pan, one dropped without her observing it and lay on the ground beside a straw. And soon afterwards, a burning coal leapt from the fire down to the two. Then the straw began and said, "Dear friends, from whence do you come here?" The coal replied, "I fortunately sprang out of the fire, and if I had not escaped by sheer force, my death would have been certain. I should have been burnt to ashes." Then the bean said, "I too have escaped with a whole skin, but if the old woman had got me into the pan, I would have been made into broth without any mercy, like my comrades." "And would a better fate have fallen my lot?" said the straw. "The old woman had destroyed all my brethren in fire and smoke. She seized 60 of them at once and took their lives. I luckily slipped through her fingers." "But what are we to do now?" said the coal. "I think," answered the bean, "that as we have so fortunately escaped death, we should keep together like good companions. And lest a new mischance should overtake us here, we should go away together and repair to a foreign country." The proposition pleased the two others, and they set out on their way together. Soon, however, they came to a little brook, and as there was no bridge or footplank, they did not know how they were to get over it. The straw hit on a good idea and said, "I will lay myself straight across, and then you can walk over on me as on a bridge." The straw, therefore, stretched itself from one bank to the other, and the coal, who was of an impetuous disposition, tripped quite boldly on the newly built bridge. But when she had reached the middle and heard the water rushing beneath her, she was, after all, afraid and stood still and ventured no farther. The straw, however, began to burn, broke into 2 pieces, and fell into the stream. The coal slipped after her, hissed when she got into the water, and breathed her last. The bean, who had prudently stayed behind on the shore, could not but laugh at the event, was unable to stop, and laughed so heartily that she burst. It would have been all over with her, likewise, if, by good fortune, a tailor who was traveling in search of work had not sat down to rest by the brook. As he had a compassionate heart, he pulled out his needle and thread and sewed her together. The bean thanked him most prettily, but as the tailor used black thread, all beans since then have a black seam. The end of this strangely short tale, The Straw, the Coal, and the Bean. While I can't say it was a happily ever after for everyone, it did feel magical and delightful, and it ended okay for the bean, who now, as I understand it, is the progenitor for all beans since then. I do hope that Taylor found something good to eat after forgoing the bean. And I hope you enjoyed this little fairy tale and the one before it as well. Now, I'd like to take you on some wonderful adventures in the real world in my show, A Bit Obscure. In the latest episodes, we're visiting a ghost town in the mountains, fairy castles and cathedrals clinging to a cliffside, the dangerous home of the Mothman cryptid, and so much more. So, hop on and join me in my newest A Bit Obscure adventure, only on Nebula. I've talked about Nebula before. It's a collection of conscientious creators, each with their own niche and speciality, where you can get early access and watch ad-free. But it's more than that. We are always making new, unique shows and movies, and A Bit Obscure is part of that. Nebula members make this all possible. You can watch my newest A Bit Obscure episodes right now by going to go.nebula.tv/abitfrank, or clicking my links below. This also gives you early access on Nebula first, and you can watch all of my videos, including the A Bit Late podcast, without ads. If you love what you see, you can get a very special 50% off of Nebula annual memberships by using my link go.nebula.tv/abitlate. This not only helps me to make more videos, but nets you a very, very sweet deal, which works out to $30 for the entire year. I'm so excited to take you with me on my travels. Nebula has absolutely made a difference in me making these videos, and by signing up using my links, it makes it more possible. Thank you so much for being here. And for now, off to sleep and dream what you will, or stay a while and enjoy another tale. Whichever you choose, I'll speak to you again, and until then, stay spooky, my friends. Good night.